speaking of Joe Biden, he had his chance to make his closing argument before we go into these midterms. And I love it. He too is out there. He's like, I've been invited by like 16 or 17 or 18 different campaigns to go out there and campaign. Well, why is your schedule totally clear except for this one appearance in Pennsylvania? Why aren't you actually doing that, Mr. President? He decides to make his closing argument about inflation, about immigration, about abortion even. That's a good issue for the Dems. Not exactly. Here's what he said.
A lot of Americans began to wonder whether we can still do anything, whether we're still who we've always been. We are. And everybody thought I was nuts when I had asked the question, if I could do one thing, what would you do? I'd do something that didn't answer any of the real questions we just had, but just demonstrate we can still do anything. If I could wave a wand, I'd cure cancer. Why? Because no one believes it can be done. But we're starting to do it. There's nothing beyond our capacity. I mean it. Not a joke. Not a joke.
That is terrifying.
I mean, that is just so wild.
I thought, did anybody else think that he was like at the next step just going to swallow the camera?
Yeah.
I mean, it was, what the hell is he talking about?
He looks
right.
like,
What is he doing?
He looks like Jim Jones at the end, you know?
After the Kool-Aid.
Somebody starts, stirring that Kool-Aid.
It's like, this is days after the interview with Jonathan Capehart of MSNBC, in which he clearly, he appeared to fall asleep when asked whether Dr. Jill Biden, Dr. Jill, it's so ridiculous, wants him to run again. Basically couldn't keep his eyes open. And then here's another whopper he just delivered. There's no contact with the facts anymore. Speaking of Kamala Harris, talking about her approval rating. Listen to this one.
The Vice President of the United States, Vice President Harris. How's she doing? You're almost 2 years in. How's she doing?
She's doing great. She is first of all, she's smart as hell. She has a backbone like a ramrod, and she has enormous integrity. And, but if you take a look out there, there isn't any public figure that is, 60% favorable ratings.
No, we don't
her.
know, Joe.
What? There's certainly
Including her.
in your administration. I can guarantee you that.
What is he? He's suggesting she's there? I don't whatever. She's got, I think, 39% approval rating, according to the latest polls. She's right around where he is, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Debbie. But yeah, what's he saying? She's at 39.
Yeah, no, I mean, her average on 538 is like 36%, right? But there's like a Quinnipiac poll last week that had her at 28. I mean, she's historically unpopular, unquestionably about that. What I appreciate is the hard-hitting journalism there. I mean, they've really taken the president to task, thrown it open what he thinks about the vice president. I mean, my God.
Oh,
did you
and how about the setup? Like, to say it like 4 different ways so he knows Kamala Harris is the vice president.
Did you read what Jonathan Capehart wrote after the interview? Sort of like this after action report he filed with the paper. So. Here's what he wrote, quote, "Folks, listen to me. Biden is just fine, more than fine. In fact, I came away with 2 overwhelming impressions. Biden is totally going to run for re-election in 2024, and he doesn't just like being president, he loves the job of president."
Oh, my Lord. Oh,
I mean, that's the thing is like, for the majority of Americans who don't see this, the Dems have an entire apparatus of the media to run cover for them, to make it sound like, oh, must have gone great. Like he can be as disastrous as staring at the reporter for like 5 seconds with no idea what he's about to say. And then you're going to see reports saying that, oh, it was totally fine. The same way that you had all these journalists covering for Fetterman, you have all these journalists who've been covering for Biden. The guy can't talk about the economy. He can't talk about crime. He can't talk about Americans struggling to get by, Americans being terrified to walk out of their homes, to be a victim of violent crime, which is just up double digits in basically every part of this country. He can't talk about that. So he goes off the reservation and starts saying, hey, I'll cure cancer, guys. And we're supposed to accept that this is totally normal. Like,
and a lifetime supply of chocolate. I heard you guys talking about this on your show yesterday, the AP article by Zeke Miller. To your point, Smug, it was, here it goes, one hug and one selfie at a time Biden's mission to connect. The lead line of the article, one handshake, one hug, one selfie at a time. If President Joe Biden could greet every American this way, longtime allies say his approval ratings would soar. And then they say in the piece, there can occasionally be awkward moments, such as when a presidential quip lands poorly, that in today's partisan environment are often broadcast online by his political rivals, but they are outnumbered by the positive interactions that have defined Biden's career and tested the stamina of his aides. Adding, stand by, it's the last part, he outlasts us. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Jen O'Malley Dillon told the Associated Press of Biden's penchant for spending 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes longer, shaking hands. Give me a break. This is all lies.
It is.
It's lies. If you're like me, you're getting a little scared, a little bit more concerned about the future. The market's all over the place. The inflation levels are at their highest in 40 years. Interest rates are skyrocketing. Market experts are using terms like recession, economic hurricane, even unprecedented. If you want to protect your future, call a precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. All it takes to get started is a super short phone call, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside your IRA or 401k. And they keep it simple. They are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. And as an exclusive offer for my fans, if you call them right now, they will give you up to $1,500 of free silver and a free safe on qualifying orders too. Don't wait, call them now. Call 866-518-2955. That's 866-518-2955 or text Megyn, MEGYN, to 65532. Again, that's 866-518-2955 or text Megyn to 65532. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.